Welcome back. Welcome back. We've got some picks that have come in. The Falcons pick is in. They're on the clock with the 15th pick overall. There we go. But I will get to that in a minute. But while we were gone, hold on. We're about to have Atlantis pick them in. We'll get the others in just a moment.
The 2025 NFL Draft. The Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker, defensive end, Georgia.
Jalen Walker, linebacker, Georgia. And I think Atlanta was really looking to get a linebacker because they need one, and because they had a rough season with their linebacker last year, and he kind of was off and on last year. So yeah, but I mean he did produce, but he kind of, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for.
I'm not sure. They're trying to upgrade or something, trying to get
something like that. Yeah,
trying to get something better to get him over that hump to try to get him back into the playoffs.
Exactly.
He's an off-the-ball linebacker, but the best thing he does is rush on the end.
Now the Arizona Cardinals are on.
Yes, we're at number 16, and we are now halfway through the first round. And Walker is from Georgia, and I think he put up a lot of big numbers with Georgia when he played with Georgia this past season, and right now I'm going to announce to you, whoa! I am sorry for the problems with my.
For the Steelers and dominate. Coming off the edge, rushing against offensive tackle.
All right, there we go. Now we're back.
Yeah, well, now we're back. Sorry about that.
Okay, so
we're going to announce the other picks, previous ones where we're gone. At number 10, the Chicago Bears took Colton Loveland, a tight end from Michigan, which I think the Bears were needing a tight end to put some depth in their offense.
And give Caleb Williams some help, yes.
And the San Francisco 49ers selected Michael Williams, an edge from Georgia, and they were looking for an edge because their one kind of had a rough season and went to a different team, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah, and with the 12th pick, the Dallas Cowboys took Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama, and I think Dallas was looking to take a guard, and I think they were. With the 13th pick, Miami, who were 8-9 last season, fell just short of the playoffs. They took Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle from Michigan, and I think Miami was looking to get a defensive tackle because they wanted to add some depth because their one, I think, kind of was kind of up and down last year.
I think so. I think their defense cost them the playoffs last year.
Yeah. And with the 15th pick, as you know, the Atlanta Falcons took Jalen Walker, linebacker. I missed one. With the 14th pick, the Indianapolis Colts took Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. And I think Indy was looking to get a tight end to really add some depth to their offensive line. I believe it. And because I think the one time they had was kind of back and forth, up and down, something like that.
It's now they got a quarterback, now the Richard coming off of injury.
And with the 15th pick, Atlanta Falcons, they took Jalen Walker, as you know, linebacker from Georgia. And right now, we are at number 16, about halfway through the draft, and
Arizona's still on the clock. We're
waiting for that pick.
The pick is just now in.
We will find out in just a few seconds. But right now, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans, who have the number 1 pick. Well, they got the number pick, and as we anticipated, they did take Cam Ward. He was the first one to go off the board in round 1, and that was basically a no-brainer. And Cam Ward, he went first. He makes an FCS history. He ends Miami's first-round drought. He joins a very small list of ACC number 1 picks. The 2025 NFL Draft is expected to open with Cam Ward, and they did, going off the board, going first overall to the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans, I think, were looking to take him, I think. Not so much the Browns, but I think the Titans were looking to take him. And I think you might agree with that.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, because
They already need a quarterback.
Because they had Ryan Tannehill, he got injured, and then the backup had to take over, and the quarterback out of the University of Miami has been protected, top pick, and he was a top pick. He was very first for a few weeks with odds at 20,000 on FanDuel, as you may have heard. Now, anything else would be a collapse of everything. Now we know about the draft prep. Cam Ward. Now, with it being out of the way, it was the number one pick. Tennessee has been chasing. The Titans front office has been present in every major step of his pre-draft journey. Head coach Brian Callahan, former Browns offensive coordinator, has shown nothing but public praise, and Cam Ward, he's been responding. One of the best head coaches out there. Well, we'll get to Matt Bethis in just a sec. Right now, we're gonna find out where Arizona's taken right now. Let's listen in.
Defensive tackle, Mississippi.
Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. And I think Arizona was looking for a defensive tackle, and Walter Nolan had an extremely, and I mean extremely, good season at Ole Miss. He really dominated in every game that Ole Miss played. And Mitch, I think you're going to agree when I say that he did dominate. He put up some really big numbers with Ole Miss.
I don't know his exact numbers, but yeah, I think he. Yeah.
But he played well. He really had a good season. And the Cincinnati Bengals are now on the clock. Who were, I believe, they were 10-4 this past season, something like that, or 9-4. 9-4, I believe.
Maybe 9-4, maybe something like that.
And they do need a few additions to the puzzle. And Burrow still remains as their starting quarterback, and hopefully he'll put up some better numbers this year. And he was injured for part of the season, but then came back. But they kind of fell short in the playoffs when they got to the playoffs. So, but Cincinnati does need a few additions to the puzzle. Now, getting back to the Titans and Cam Ward. He said on a live stream. He also called Titans wide receivers Traylon Burks and Calvin Ridley, and running backs Tony Pollard and Tyjack Spears, some of the best at their positions in the league. Now, this isn't a subtitle. This is happening. So, I think, and I agree with that, and because they do have some of the best, the Titans, but they kind of struggled on and off this past season, and were not able to make the playoffs. So, now, Cam Ward was taken first overall by the Titans, and it won't be just a big win for the Titans. It will mark several major milestones. First, he'll become the first player who started his college career at FCS level to ever go number one, which he did in the first round tonight in the NFL draft. Now, yes, he's known now for his season at the University of Miami, and before that, Washington State. But this started at Incarnate Word. Now, that was the only school to offer him a scholarship out of high school. At Incarnate Word, Cam Ward passed for 6,908 yards and 71 touchdowns in just 19 games. And he led them to their first 10-win season, their first FCS playoff victory. And all of this before the hype. The only player from the FCS to come close to this was Carson Wentz, who went number 2 overall in 2016. Ward did go number 1, and he becomes the first. So this was big for the Titans, and that was like zoom. This isn't just an FCS storyline. Cam Ward was the first. Would also, and he is the third Miami Hurricanes player in history to be selected first overall, and that is a big milestone for the Miami Hurricanes. The last time that happened was in 1991 with Russell Maryland. Before that, it was quarterback Vinny Testaverde in 1987, and he played with the Browns and then was with the Ravens, but then they finally traded him. And now, for a program that dominated the early 2000s, Miami has had a dry spell at the top of the draft board. Cam Ward breaks that. He'll be the first Miami Hurricanes player drafted, and he was the first Miami Hurricanes player drafted in the first round tonight since 2021. He'll be the first Miami Hurricane offensive player to go in the first round, and he was the first one to go in the first round since 2017. And on top of that, he'll become only the third player from the Atlantic Coast Conference to be selected with the number 1 pick, and he was. That it. Now, just 3. The other 2 are Jameis Winston in 2015 and Trevor Lawrence 2 years ago in 2021. That's the entire list. Cam Ward joins that group, as the Titans did pick him in the first round. So this was a big win for the Titans, and I think they really needed this. This was something they needed, and they needed a rookie quarterback. They're going to have to develop him. They won't see him right away. And the Bengals pick is in. We are waiting for that to come in at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay, and getting back to the Browns, and also that Tony Flynn, talking to myself about the Browns as the NFL draft looms. We got some questions and answers that he put in, and I really like this what I saw, and we're going to find out who the Bengals took in just a moment. There's the first question: who are the Browns going to draft? And his answer was Travis Hunter, but that we know did not happen, and of course, just like that, no doubt, and he said no doubt, but that did not happen. We traded it, and we drafted Mason Graham with pick number 5. Now,
here's the commissioner with
and here's the commissioner, Roger Goodell. We'll get back to this in just a moment. Let's listen in.
The second half of the first round of the commissioner enjoying the musical performance. Here's the selection. With the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
Shamar Stewart they take. Edge, I think they were looking to get an edge, I think. And I think this was a good move for the Bengals. What do you think, Mitch? Do you think this was a good move for the Bengals?
Well, I think so, because I think they have a pretty good offense. So they need to work on their defense.
And they do need to work on their defense. You're absolutely right, and I agree with that. Wholeheartedly, I agree. And he is from Texas A&M, and he did really have a good season with them, and he put up some some big numbers, and I think he did have a great season with them. So I think he's going to be a great addition to the Bengals once they can get him developed. And right now, the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock right now with the 18th pick. And Seattle, they need some pieces of the puzzle, and they did well on and off, but they did struggle a little bit, and then fell short. Cassie fell short of the playoffs. But getting back to what I was talking about with the questions, now, what if they're wrong and they pick someone else or trade down, which what they did with the number 2? That could happen, but a better question is, what if the Browns pass on Hunter, and it turns out they did, and they were wrong? Now, are you sure here's the next question. Are you sure you aren't being fooled by GM Andrew Berry gushing about Hunter at his recent press conference? And And here's the answer. It's rare for Barry to do that, and that's a part of the reason I believe it's genuine. And I can agree with that, but we did get fooled because we took Mason Graham, Mitch, and everybody thought that we were going to take Travis Hunter, and that was not the case. And here's another question. It's an interesting one, which is here's what Jimmy Haslam had to say at the recent owners' meetings. It would be great if we could get the quarterback, but we're not going to force it. We're going to be patient, and we're going to try to accumulate as many really good football players as we can. Now, I kind of agree, but yet I don't agree with that because they need to draft a quarterback. They need to do it. Ward is gone, either Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, or Jalen Milroy, either way. And I think I kind of going to agree with. I think do you agree with me on that, or
I agree they do need to draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
But
and
they don't necessarily have to do it in the first round. They can still get a quarterback in the second round.
Yeah, we don't. I think that might be in the second round, but we still haven't had a quarterback go off the board since Cam Ward with the first pick. So
And I don't know that Seattle's going to do because they just got Sam Darnold. So
yeah, and these now with the Seattle Seahawks, former Minnesota quarterback Sam Darnold, and their pick is in. We'll find out in just a moment. But that's the owner. Here's the answer to that one. Barry also said, obviously, quarterback's the most important position. I think the biggest thing that we're thinking about going into this draft is really just adding good players and good prospects, not overthinking that way. You can't necessarily dictate the draft, although certainly having a more influence when you're picking as high as we are this year, but we're really just looking to add good players, and I can agree with that. And excuse me. We are out of time for this segment. We'll continue with segment 3. I hope right after this. Stay tuned. We'll let you know what picks come in. More to come. We'll be right back.